What's up guys, Label Lifts here. In today's video we're going to be talking about training splits. We'll go over the various different types of training splits and find out which one is best for you. Alright, so first things first. What exactly is a training split? A training split is an organized plan to divide your training sessions throughout the week so you can target a single muscle or muscle groups. When deciding what training split you want to go with, there are two key factors to keep in mind. One, your gym experience. So how long have you been going to the gym? Are you fairly new or have you been going for a few years now? And two, your time commitment to the gym. Are you someone who has a lot of free time and can go multiple days throughout the week? Or are you somebody who's very limited on time and can barely make it? As we review the following training splits, keep that in mind. The first training split we're going to cover is the full body split. The full body split consists of targeting every major muscle group in one singular session. These sessions are divided into 2 or 3 times per week. This is ideal for beginners as it focuses primarily on the compound movements and really builds up their motor patterns so they can become familiar with these exercises. It's also great for beginners because there's a lot of recovery time in between each session. So if you decide to do full body 2 times a week, it could look like this. You could set it up for Monday would be day 1, and then Thursday would be day 2. That would give you 2 days of rest in between sessions, and then by the time you started the cycle over again, you'd have another 3 days of rest. Once again, this is just one example of how to set this up. If you decide to go 3 times a week with the full body split, it could look a little something like this. You could go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'd still have a day of rest in between each session, and then you would have 2 full days off before the cycle repeated itself once again. Big disclaimer, the one way I would not recommend to do this split, whether it be 2 days or 3 days, is to do it in a row. That's too much volume for your body to handle. Your muscle fibers won't have enough time to repair themselves, and you'll actually be doing more harm than good. Always make sure to have at least 24 hours of rest in between each session. Moving on to my personal favorite, we have the upper-lower split. This 4-day split consists of separating the upper body and lower body muscle groups and focusing on them 2 times per week. This is great because this routine or split is often less fatiguing and it allows you to narrow your focus on whichever muscle group you're targeting. It's also great because it allows for plenty of rest in between each training session. This is how a typical upper-lower split would look in the week. So Monday you would go upper body, Tuesday you'd go lower body, Wednesday would be off, Thursday would be upper body again, and Friday would be lower body again. And then you'd have Saturday and Sunday off. But one key note that I want to make here is the fact that look at how there's 48 hours of rest before you hit upper body a second time. So even though you only have 3 full days off, you actually have even more rest than that because you're giving yourself more time in between hitting the same muscle group for the second time. Up next we have the push-pull leg split, which consists of separating your workouts into 3 distinct categories. Either your pushing muscles, which are your chest, anterior deltoids, and your triceps, your pulling muscles, which are your back, rear delts, and biceps, or your lower body, so your legs. This exercise routine or training split is great because it allows you to even further narrow down your focus onto what muscle group you're working. Bear in mind though, this split is for either an advanced lifter or someone who really enjoys spending a lot of time in the gym. Another benefit to the split is the fact that there's actually a lot of rest time in between each session in which you hit the same muscle group, even though you're working out 6 days per week. This is what a typical push-pull leg split would look like. So Monday you'd hit your pushing muscles, Tuesday you'd hit your pulling muscles, Wednesday you'd hit legs, and then the cycle would repeat itself. So Thursday would be pushing muscles, Friday would be pulling muscles, and Saturday would be legs. That gives you 1 day of full rest. But if you take a closer look, notice how there's 48 hours in between each session in which you hit the same muscle group. So for pushing, for example, you would hit it Monday and then again on Thursday. Pulling, Tuesday and then Friday. And then legs would be Wednesday and then Saturday. So there's actually plenty of time to rest in between each session. So part of me would feel bad if I didn't include this last split on my list, is it actually was the very first split I ever attempted when I first got into the gym. It was also very popular at the time, pushed in all kinds of health and fitness and sports magazines throughout the world. It's what's known as the bro split. The bro split consists of a 5-day split in which you focus only on one muscle group for that entire session. So chest Mondays, leg Wednesdays, arms Fridays. Here's a more in-depth look. This is what the bro split typically looks like. You'd have chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, shoulders on Wednesday, arms on Thursday, and legs on Friday. While this might seem good on paper, there's actually some definite drawbacks to this split. As number one, you're only targeting each major muscle group once per week, and that's too much rest in between each session. What I mean by this is it's, say, chest for example, you wouldn't hit that again until the following Monday. So that's a little bit too much rest. You could argue that there's some overlap, such as the chest and shoulders, as those are both pushing muscles, but it's not really quite the same thing. It also is very fatiguing because you have to stop and think. If you're doing 10 different exercises of just back, the quality of those reps are going to go down pretty quickly, as opposed to if you spread it out throughout the week. Not to rag on the bro split more than I already have, one final point that I want to get across is that studies have proven that higher training frequencies or hitting multiple muscle groups more frequently throughout the week actually leads to higher protein synthesis, which is your body's ability to create protein from amino acids, or in simple terms, you can use this to build more muscle as opposed to just hitting a muscle group once per week. So to recap, we have the full body split, which can be performed 2 or 3 times a week. We have the upper lower split, which is 4 times a week, hitting the upper body twice a week and the lower body twice a week. We have the push-pull legs, which narrows it down even more to pushing movements, pulling movements, and leg movements twice a week. Or you have the bro split, which is one singular muscle group for the entire workout. So at the end of the day, each training split has its pros and cons. But ultimately, when deciding what training split is best for you, pick one that fits your lifestyle, you enjoy, and will consistently get you to the gym, because that's ultimately what will lead to the best results. This is Leva Lifts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is me signing out. Have a good one, guys.